What if you turn hardship into greatness, anger into serenity? Everything changes. Make your life a masterpiece. Welcome everybody. In this video, I show you probably the most powerful way to avoid conflict in the first place. Ask questions. Why? Because it opens up a whole universe. If you ask questions, it means that you invite someone into your life and that you show that you're curious what this person thinks. It opens up a whole new universe. What is? Why? How? Tell me how I can do whatever you think is best, because I think you have the answer. So why is asking questions probably one of the most important ways in order for you to avoid conflict in the first place? Well, first, as I mentioned, it opens up, it's an invitation to the other person to come into your life and to share his or her knowledge and wisdom. Now, secondly, it shows that you want to learn. You want to learn and you are curious about the other person's life. In other words, you address the fundamental human identity needs. That's security, that's connectedness, that's recognition, action, and ultimately meaning. In other words, you give, by just asking a question already, you give the security that actually you feel like that the other person is valued, that you actually have interest, and therefore you are implicitly showing that the other person in your eyes has value. Otherwise you will not ask, otherwise you will not pay attention to the person. Secondly, you connect, you fulfill the connectedness, the need for connection that we all have by asking the other person a question. And ultimately, at the same time, you recognize the other person as a person, because otherwise you will not ask. And this empowers the other person to respond, because you indicate, hey, you are valuable. You are valuable. So you're valuable to my life. Therefore, I ask you a question. And this ultimately means that I invite the other person to take action, to respond, and which ultimately gives the other person meaning. Because when you have security, when you have a sense of connectedness, when you have a sense of recognition, when you have a sense of action, which is really ultimately creativity, then your human identity needs are more or less met. So therefore, it's like driving a car and you have all four wheels are perfectly inflated. They all help each other in order for you to keep, on the car of course, a balance so you can have a smooth ride. And really, the smooth ride is having a very fruitful interaction with someone else. So what makes you think? What do you think about this? Why do you think we should do this or that? And how should we do it? Tell me how. And at the very first, if someone starts talking to you, just ask, tell me more, and just listen. So again, make sure you ask, okay, what do you think? Why do you think this is a good solution? And how do you think we can go about it? How do you approach this challenge? So again, ask question in order for you to really start living a fruitful, meaningful, and life-giving life. That's why knowledge matters. Make your life a masterpiece. Visit now programs.the-ykm.com. Meant to make you grow.